I'd like to say welcome to my prison cell. I don't even know what I'm saying. Slugfesters, welcome to another edition of the upsets predictions. I'm sorry I did them this late. Um, my life is just a mess at this point. I'm trying to do so many things all at once, and it's not necessarily going how it's supposed to. But yeah, hopefully a lot of you, hopefully a lot of you are awake because I'm doing this for you guys. So I'm going to go through the entire card and give you my upsets predictions. Um, Unfortunately, today I didn't prepare um, the the proper notes that I normally prepare, but obviously I did the breakdowns, so I'm going to basically explain, especially because I came up with the new system for predicting fights, and I tested it on over 500 fights, and it gave me a prediction accuracy of 88%. Right, so which essentially means if I'm correct about this particular prediction strategy, obviously I tested it on previous fights, previous 500 fights, right? And it gave me 88%. So this particular upcoming card is going to be the first card where I'm going to be testing the strategy live, right? On live predictions. So this is going to be the first card where I'm applying this particular strategy that I tested on 500 previous fights. So I'm also excited to see how it goes. But even the previous the previous card, or rather the previous fights, I think it's been 50 fights, or 50 cards, something like that, in the past year. I tested it on that and it still gave me 88, 89%. So, which means even on a bad day, technically, I'm supposed to be above 70%, even on a bad day. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if what I'm saying is actually accurate or not. So, with that being said, let's get to the fight. And once I'm done breaking down the fight, I'll then go to, or rather give you my most confident picks, especially based on the new system that I created. Right. So the first fight on the card is, let me expand everything so that I can see the odds properly and not have to press every single time I have to check the odds. So first fight on the card is Guram Kutateladze versus Kauwe Fernandez. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. Kutateladze is a massive favorite at minus 440, and Fernandez is the underdog at plus 340. Do I think an upset is possible here? 100%. I think a lot of people are overlooking and underestimating Fernandez. Obviously, he hasn't been performing exceptionally well, but if I'm not mistaken, I think he won his last fight. Um, but between the both of them, I feel like Fernandez has the knockout power. I feel like Fernandez has the higher finishing rate. Kutateladze has been extremely inconsistent in his career. He sometimes looks good, he sometimes looks terrible, so it's kind of difficult to actually determine if it's actually good or it's because the opponent is fighting not as great. I mean, for example, in his last fight, he fought Jordan Vucenic, um, and even though I think Jordan Vucenic a really, really good fighter. Vucenic came in on short notice and he was performing exceptionally well. I think with that, the lads obviously won because of the fact that Vucenic was coming in on short notice. So that played a significantly huge role in basically who ended up getting the win. I genuinely still feel like, what do you call him? Fernandez has the power advantage, has the finishing ability, despite the fact that a lot of people are trashing him. But I genuinely feel like he has the finishing ability to actually get this one done. However, obviously, Kutateladze will have the experience advantage. Kutateladze has a little bit more of a well-rounded skill, even though he doesn't use it as much as he's supposed to. Um, Kutateladze is more well-rounded than what do you call him, Fernandez. So, do I think an upset is possible? Definitely, but my subscribers and I went with Guram Kutateladze. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how accurate what I'm saying is. Um, on to the next one. Colin Logran versus Nathan Fletcher. Um, Logran is the underdog at plus 105, and Fletcher is a slight favorite at the minus 125. Do I think an upset is possible here? Ah, no. Based on, as I was saying when I was starting this stream, I created a new testing, rather prediction strategy. So based on that strategy, Nathan Fletcher is one of my locks on this particular card. I think Nathan Fletcher is going to definitely win this fight. The probability of losing is significantly low. So do I think an upset is possible here? No, no. I don't think an upset is possible here. In fact, I think the odds for Kutateladze should be switched with Nathan Fletcher because Kutateladze is highly likely to lose. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna lose, but if anyone is going to lose in this particular fight, it's probably going to be Kutateladze, not Nathaniel Fletcher. Yeah, Nathan Fletcher. So, do I think an upset is possible here? Nah, I think what do you call him? Logren's striking is not that great. His wrestling is decent, but I mean, I feel like Fletcher is going to be able to defend a lot of Logren's takedowns. So I don't think anything that Logren has to offer is going to be a problem for Fletcher to deal with. So I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident in Fletcher taking this one. Hi man, how are you doing? So yeah, I think Fletcher is definitely going to take this one. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. My subscribers and I went with Nathan Fletcher, by the way. So for me personally, I don't think an upset is possible here. So that's why this is one of my locks. On to the next one: Shauna Benon versus Puja Toma. Benon is the favorite at minus 170, and Puja Toma is the underdog at um, plus 140. Do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, of course. My subscribers went with Shauna Benon, and I went with Puja Toma. You watch UFC? Yeah, of course I watch UFC. That's why I'm breaking it down. So initially I picked the Shona Benon. I thought Shona Benon would actually. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing her name properly. I actually picked her to actually get it done. However, after after I tested this particular new strategy, and I went through the entire card again. So if you go through my previous prediction, I actually picked Shauna Benon, but I then ended up going with Puja Toma. My new prediction strategy says Puja Toma is actually going to get this one done, which makes a lot of sense. I think Puja Toma has a higher finishing ability, and in women's MMA, that's very important, but that's not what I'm basing my prediction on. My prediction is based on the fact that both of them are not necessarily great at anything, but I would give the slight advantage to Puchatoma. I mean, their striking is more or less the same, their grappling is more or less the same. So it's kind of difficult to actually say Shona Bonon is the better fighter because she's not. And what makes it worse is that her finishing ability is extremely low. So for me to have any type of confidence in someone who's unable to finish fights or is not particularly good at finishing fights is kind of ridiculous to be honest for me. Um, just like the stream, Leon will win Sean Brady. Yeah, yeah. I think Leon is going to definitely win, but I'll get to that particular fight and I'll try to break it down to the best of my abilities. Oh, and I appreciate the like, man. So I think Puja Toma is going to win this one. I think she's slightly better. Shot McGee, holy shit, I've been cooked on bets. Don't worry, man. Like I've been saying, there are. I explained when I started this stream. The reason I'm even late to this particular stream, I was supposed to have done it a little bit earlier on, but I tested my new prediction strategy. Are you Nigerian? No, I'm South African. So I tested this new prediction strategy, and it gave me 88 between 88 and 89% prediction accuracy. So, which means even on a bad night, I'm supposed to average 70%. So I guess we'll see. Like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, this is going to be the first card where I'm applying this particular new strategy. Do you think George and get it done in the first round of the night? Georgian, who? What do you mean? Who's the Georgian? So I'm going with Puchatoma. My subscribers are going with Shauna Benon. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Do I think an upset is possible? Of course. I'm picking Puchatoma to actually get it done. On to the next one. Andrew Pulaev versus Christian Rodriguez. Pulaev is a massive underdog. Massive, massive. I didn't realize that Andrew Pulaev was such a massive underdog, man. Rodriguez is a massive favorite at minus 575. Andrew Pulaev is the underdog at plus 425. Do I think an upset is possible here? 100%. Obviously, I picked Andrew Pulaev. My subscribers went with Christian Rodriguez. Once again, do you train in the martial arts? I don't train any martial arts as yet. Guram, do you think Guram wins? Yeah, but it's going to be a risky fight. It's going to be a close fight. Guram is probably going to win this one, but I wouldn't be shocked if Fernandez gets a knockout. But my official pick is Guram Kutateladze. But that one is going to be very, very tricky. Even with my new prediction strategy, that one is going to be a close fight. But nonetheless, I'm still picking Guram Kutateladze. So back to Andrew Pulaev versus Christian Duncan, Leroy Duncan. So I'm worried about him on the feed. Yeah, that's actually what I broke down initially in the stream. That I think Fernandez is go might land a big shot. Especially, I actually even spoke about Kutateladze's inconsistency. He's very well rounded, but he doesn't necessarily apply himself effectively, and his cardio is not as great. Like he has a lot of issues, that guy. But nonetheless, um, you can just that's the part that you missed. Obviously, I'm still early in the prelims. You can always go back and check it out. So initially, I went with Christian Leroy Duncan. Um, like a lot of people, right? But after I created this new system of predicting fights that has been tested on 500 fights, I'll keep on repeating that. Um, my prediction strategy says Andrew Pulaev is going to win. CLD had a hard weight cut, worried about it. Yeah, I mean, my prediction strategy says Andrew Pulaev is going to get this one done. On the feed, I know a lot of people feel like Christian Leroy Duncan is going to be significantly better, but for me personally, I feel like I would give a slight edge to Andrew. I think obviously Duncan can maybe mix it up. I also think Andrew has the ability to actually deal with any type of takedowns attempted on him. So, in all honesty, after reanalyzing this particular fight, I feel like Andrew Pulaev is going to actually get this one done. Obviously, not particularly confident because of Christian Leroy Duncan is a tested veteran in the UFC. So I understand why people are picking him. Initially, I picked him, but I'm going with Andrew Pulaev. My subscribers are going with Christian Leroy Duncan. This is a new system that I'm testing out, so if I'm right about this one, I'm going to be massively, massively impressed with myself. Especially considering that Christian Leroy Duncan is a massive favorite. Minus 575 is crazy. So if I'm right about this one, I'm going to be very proud of myself. um, Auto impulse Pulaev needs the grappling as an equalizer. I honestly beg to differ. I think given on the feed, Pulaev is going to be able to hang with Christian Leroy Duncan. I could be wrong, but I'm still gonna wait to be proven wrong, right? I'll bet that CLD seems lazy and not like he's improving. Okay, okay, sure. The pulse pulse had a bait weight cut. Minus 550 on CLD is criminal. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see tomorrow. Plus, it's starting at UK time, if I'm not mistaken. So it's basically South African time. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, obviously I think an upset is possible here. I picked Andrew. My subscribers went with Christian Leroy Duncan. Let's see who's right. I'm feeling a little bit more confident today because I've put in a lot of work into the strategy, so it has to work. And I've tested it rigorously. So yeah. On to the next one. Marcin Taibura versus McParkin. Taibura is a slight underdog at plus 105. Um, McParkin is the favorite at minus 125. Do I think an upset is possible here? I struggled with this one because initially my initial pick was McParkin, right? I've got Taibura in this one. Yeah, initially I went with McParkin. I was like, okay, McParkin is younger. McParkin trains with Tom Aspinall. McParkin this, McParkin that. And then I remembered that fight with Mohammed Usman was too close for my liking, right? Mohammed Usman is not an elite heavyweight, right? So for McParkin to have, obviously I'm not saying it was like really really close, but there were moments where I was like, oh my god, is he going to lose? So after careful consideration and obviously after coming up with this new system of predicting fights, I was like, you know what? I think Taibura has been underestimated a lot of times by a lot of people, including myself, in the past, and he has proven us all wrong. I think his last fight was Jonathan Deniz, and I was saying Jonathan Deniz is going to win that particular fight. And if you look at a lot of people's predictions recently, our predictions are basically the same. For some reason, a lot of the predictors on YouTube, our predictions are more or less the same. And people cannot accuse me of copying anyone because my predictions are basically the first to come out. So, as far as who's copying who, it can't be me because my predictions are, I think I'm the first one to post my predictions earlier than anyone every single week, right? But nonetheless, I'm not even accusing anyone of copying me. I'm just saying our predictions are extremely similar. Um, so uh, normally I would be worried when my predictions do not match other predictors' predictions because a lot of people are going with people like um, Shauna Benon. People are going with people like what do you call him, Christian Leroy Duncan. Everyone is going everyone is going with the same kind of pick, more or less on all almost every fight. And if you look at the past couple of cards, a lot of those picks have been wrong, right? So for me personally, when my picks, a lot of my picks are different from a lot of the majority of people, I'm like, phew, okay, I know these people are going to get fights wrong. I'm glad that my picks are not aligning with the majority, because so far the majority have been wrong for the past couple of cards, right? So for me, when I reassessed the fight between McParkin and Taibura, I was like, you know what? I've underestimated Taibura a lot. Even in his previous fight, I thought Jonathan Diniz is going to lose. And obviously, granted, Jonathan Diniz does not have a ground game. I understand that people can say, well, Jonathan Diniz is not McParkin. McParkin trains with Tom Aspinall. His takedown defense is going to be a little bit better. But, I mean, Taibura, I mean, I think Taibura can stand with McParkin. I think Taibura is going to be better on the ground. And we all know that the age works differently at heavyweight. It's not like lighter weight where if you're 39, you're going to automatically perform horribly. At heavyweight, you can be 39 and still perform at an elite level. I mean, what do you call him? Daniel Cormier's last fight was when he was around 39, if I'm not mistaken, 38, 39, around that age, and he was in a championship fight, right? At that age. Stipe Miocic recently had a fight, obviously against John Jones. Granted, he lost, but he was in a championship fight at like 40 or 40 something, whatever the age was. So at heavyweight, age works a little bit differently than at higher, at lower weight classes. So I consider the fact that Marcin Taibura is actually 39 years old, and that worries me heavily. But after careful analysis and after I applied my new prediction strategy, I was like, I'm changing my pick from McParkin to Marcin Taibura. My subscribers are also going with Marcin Taibura. Um, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting card because either we are going to find out that I'm the best predictor, not just on YouTube, but in the world, because on average, even odds makers are terrible at predicting fights, by the way, because odds on favorites, I think, win about 50 something percent of the time, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're betting based on odds, or if you are basically spending money based on odds, the probability of you being correct are like, I don't know, 58% or 60%, something like that. Don't quote me on this. You can do your own research, but the prediction accuracy is not that high. And even the best predictors, their average is around 70, 75, 76, somewhere there. So if I'm right about this, if my prediction accuracy holds up, based on the previous 500 fights that I tested it on, and it consistently gives me an 88% or 89% prediction accuracy, then I'm going to effectively be the best predictor as far as MMA goes in the world. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see first if my predictions will be accurate this coming Saturday. And obviously, irrespective of how this card goes, it can't be less than 70%. That's another important aspect of this particular test. Is number one, my predictions from now on cannot be less than 70%. Even on a bad night, they shouldn't be below 70%, right? So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So let me stop rambling. I'm going with Marcin Taibura. Marcin Taibura is a small underdog, so obviously I think an upset is possible. My subscribers also think an upset is possible because they're picking um, Marcin Taibura. Before I move on to the next one, let me respond to your comment and then I'll move on to the next one. Auto Impulse, I've got Taibura on this one. I'm with you, my guy. Short McGee, Mick has fought the worst heavyweights in UFC. Yeah, man, that close fight with Muhammad Usman was not a good look. Short McGee, that Taibura as a dog is an easy pick. Yeah, I'm with you there. Mars, how's it? How are you, man? Short McGee, you're 2 weeks ahead of everyone. Yeah, I'm always ahead of everyone, man. Like so that's why no one is ever going to accuse me of copying anyone because I'm the first one to post this, so you can't claim I copy anyone. Because there are people in the comments who have said, yeah, when are you copy other people? I was like, dude, like how would I copy anyone when I'm the first to release predictions? Vivek, guys, Puja Toma or Shona Benon? I went with Puja Toma. You can always look at the stream again just to hear my breakdown of the fight. Alpha Tips. Seems like you're one of the handicappers on YouTube who legit has an edge against the books. Okay. I mean, I'm still testing. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I'm still testing the new strategy. Like I said, I've tested it on previous fights. This is going to be the first live fight I'm going to test this particular strategy on. So we'll see if my confidence is warranted or not. Shoshat McGee, Taibura gets caught on the feet, and McParkin has pillow hands for heavyweight. Um, yeah, I actually agree with that, but even with that, I still feel like Marcin Tybura is going to actually find a way to get this one done. Um, Alpha tips. What's your tips for handicapping at a consistent rate over a long period of time? Any specific stats or metrics you prioritize? What does handicapping mean, dude? Like, I feel like that's an insult. Over 50% is amazing, brother. Don't be too hard on yourself. I appreciate that, man. I'm still considered one of the best predictors. I mean, I'm not sitting here and saying my predictions are terrible. Like, my predictions are good, and that's why I'm in the top 10 of the best predictors on YouTube. But I don't want to be in the top 10. I want to be number one. That's the thing. I'm very competitive. So just being in the top 10 for me is not enough. I want to be number one, right? So that's why I'm coming up with improvements to my prediction strategies, and that's why during the past week I've been testing this prediction over and over and over and over multiple times, adjusting it, making sure that like I've done so much work. I'd be gutted if I'm wrong because I've tested it so many times, I've adjusted it so many times. It has to work, right? Um, Alpha tips legitimately having a skill to make money of essentially of any given sport. So that's what handicapping means. But it sounds like I'm being made fun of, because I don't know the term. I'll check the term and verify it. But if it's a compliment, I appreciate that, man. Um, okay, okay, Alpha Tips. I appreciate that. Um, Shoshat McGee, I'm saying Tybura gets KO to lose, and McParkin doesn't KO in UFC, even though he lands a lot. Yeah, yeah, and even I mean the Muhammad Usman fight left a sour taste in my mouth, but nonetheless, I still feel like Tybura is the better fighter, and it's heavyweight, so the fact that he's 39 is not gonna count that much. Alpha Dibs, no brother. Yeah. Okay. Let me move on to the next fight. Lona Kavanaugh versus Felipe Dos Santos. Kavanaugh is the favorite at minus 305, and Dos Santos is the underdog at plus 235. Do I think an upset is possible here? I'm going to say yeah, but not too confident in my yes, right? Let me explain. Here's another fight that I changed my pick on after implementing my new system. Because if you check my predictions on my shorts, I said I'm going with Felipe Dos Santos, right? But after careful analysis, I realized that Lona Kavanaugh is actually significantly better than Felipe Dos Santos, you know? I think Felipe Dos Santos was overhyped off of the fact that he fought Manil Cub on short notice exceptionally well, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? Am I right? I think I'm right. Yeah, I think I'm right. He fought Manil Cub on short notice and performed well. And because of that, people were like, oh my God, this guy is incredible. He's going to do great things. And he has been very underwhelming ever since. And on the other hand, Lona Kavanaugh is a decent prospect. I think he is decently well rounded. I think he has decent finishing abilities. He's, let me see, if I'm not mistaken, he's undefeated. I don't know, man. I feel like Lona Kavanaugh is going to be slightly better. He might not be significantly better than Felipe Dos Santos, but I think he's going to be slightly better. Obviously, we're talking about two prospects. At least one hasn't lost, which is Lona Kavanaugh. So I mean, it makes even more sense to go with him. But that's not basically every what I'm basing my analysis on. I don't think both of them are particularly great at striking. They are decent, even though a lot of people like to overhype their striking abilities. For me personally, I feel like they're decent. Um, I don't think, obviously, because of Felipe Dos Santos's, I don't know, wrestling deficiencies. I don't think it's gonna play out really well for him. I feel like Lonia Kavanaugh can maybe, even if he doesn't even try too hard to wrestle, I think he might have some type of success against Felipe Dos Santos, because it seems like anytime you implement any type of wrestling against this guy, his striking abilities decreases significantly. So initially, like I said, my initial pick was Felipe Dos Santos. After the strategy implementation, the strategy was like, dude, you're making a mistake. Go to the other side, and then we skip to the other side, which is Lonia Kavanaugh. So yeah, that's who I'm picking. Do I think an upset is possible? I mean, despite the fact that I'm picking Lonia Kavanaugh, I feel like he hasn't fought anyone great, to be honest. So he still has to be tested. And even if he beats Felipe Dos Santos, it doesn't really mean that much. Because I still feel like Felipe Dos Santos has been overrated since his performance against Manel Cup, and I've been saying that a lot. And people just recently saw what I was talking about. But nonetheless, yeah, my pick has changed. I know a lot of people are going to not see this, and they are going to stick to my predictions on my shorts and the standard video. I try to post my updated predictions in the comment section, but I know people like. Anyway, it's fine. As long as there's this stream, I did my best to update everyone. But starting from tomorrow, when the what do you call it, the next fight card predictions are coming out, I'm going to be applying the new strategy. I'm super excited to see the outcome of that. So yeah, I think an upset is possible, but I'm going with Lonia Kavanaugh. My subscribers are also picking Lonia Kavanaugh. You know what? My subscribers on this one are 50-50. I'm not gonna lie. But normally when my subscribers are 50-50, I'm the tiebreaker. So I give them my pick. So for example, in this particular situation, 50% of my subscribers picked Lonia Kavanaugh, 50% of them picked Felipe Dos Santos. So in this particular situation, whoever I pick, I give my subscribers that pick, right? I am the tiebreaker in most cases. So that's why they are picking Leonia Kavanaugh. But in reality, they are 50-50 on this particular fight. I don't blame them, but I don't think Dos Santos they should even be getting a 50% chance. But like I said an upset is possible here. Obviously, we're dealing with the two prospects, so I can't really be any more confident in one than the other. I just think Lonia Kavanaugh has the ability to actually do a little bit more in a variety of places. So, with that being said, Lonia Kavanaugh takes this one. On to the next one. Okay, before I move on, I've seen a couple of messages coming in. Let me reply before I move on. Um, Auto Impulse, a good angle for this fight would be over 2.5. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I have a sneaky feeling that Lonia Kavanaugh might actually find a way to finish this fight. But we'll see. Shot McGee, Lonia, shoot that box sucks. Other than Charles Oliveira. Yeah, I've been feeling like that, you know. Auto impulse, yeah, Leonia by decision. Let's go. Shot McGee, Brazilian just walks forward and has a good chin. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's what basically gave him the ability to compete with Manel Cab, and obviously also because Manel Cab, up until recently, was not basically damaging anyone. No game plan, no takedown defense, and all offense, no defense when it comes to striking. That's one of my biggest concerns with Felipe Dos Santos. Um, Auto impulse, I agree. Upset very possible. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's two prospects, so I'm not going to rule out the possibility for an upset. Auto impulse, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. This man deserves more views. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That means a lot to me. On to the next one, Jai Herbert versus Chris Badila. Jai Herbert is actually they are even at minus 110 each, right? Once again, this is another fight where I changed my pick from Jai Herbert to Chris Padilla, right? Because I think I think Jai Herbert is good, right? He gave, if I'm not mistaken, he's the guy who gave Ilya Tuporia a heart attack, for lack of a better word. He was the guy who put Ilya Tuporia in danger. You know, when Ilya Tuporia moved up, I think Ilya Tuporia was struggling to find a fight at featherweight, and then after I think two cancellations or something like that, he was offered a fight at lightweight, and at lightweight he fought Jai Herbert, and Jai Herbert I think hurt Ilya Tuporia at some point, and then that's what makes people think, oh my God, Jai Herbert is just such a dangerous guy, and I almost fell into that trap. But I think Chris Padilla is better, man. And I think Jai Herbert is past his prime. You know what I was saying about Machin Taibura, right? At heavyweight, it's different. When you're 39, it's not the same as when you're in lightweight, right? Um, in lightweight, when you're 36 years old, you are not at championship level anymore. The possibility of you getting into the top 15 is significantly low. The mere fact that Bobby Green was able to get into the top 10 while he was over the age of 36 is incredibly impressive and deserves a lot of respect because that's one of the most difficult things to do. What Bobby Green did to him should count as a championship because what he did was one of the most difficult things to ever achieve, especially over the age of 36. So it was impressive for Bobby Green to be able to do that. So Jai Herbert, for me, is on the decline. He might have a good performance in this particular fight, but I don't honestly see him actually beating Chris Padilla. A part of me obviously thought he would, and that's why I picked him. But after looking at the fight a little bit differently, after assessing the fight a little bit differently, I feel like Padilla is a little bit more aggressive. I wish I had written down their finishing rates. However, I still feel like Chris Padilla is a little bit more aggressive. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded. Um, obviously, in this particular situation, Jai Herbert is the veteran, and Padilla is the upcoming prospect, for lack of a better word. So I don't blame anyone who decides to go with Jai Herbert, like my subscribers. My subscribers decided to go with Jai Herbert in this particular fight. And initially, I had picked Jai Herbert, but after careful analysis, in fact, I don't think I ever went with Jai Herbert. I think actually, if you've seen my shorts predictions, maybe you can tell me. But I don't think I picked Jai Herbert. I was close to picking him, but I don't think I picked him. Did I? It doesn't matter. My official pick is Chris Padilla. That's not gonna change. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Unfortunately, I didn't prepare the notes that I normally prepare when I break these fights down, but I just decided to use the information that's in my head. Fortunately, I'm a fan of MMA. I don't just do this and be like and watch soccer after that. I actually watch MMA from prelims up until the main card, so it makes things a little bit easier to predict. But I don't like breaking down fights like this. I prefer to have a little bit more notes in order for you to give you guys a little bit more information about where I think this fight is going to play out, or how the other guy has the advantage over the other guy. But I'll try to be a little bit more prepared next time. But I just needed to do these upsets predictions because I haven't been doing them as consistently as I should, and I apologize for that. So yeah, do I think an upset is possible here? I mean, they are even, so is it even going to be an upset? I don't think so. I mean, is it an upset if the odds are even? I mean, I, an upset is possible, I guess, if Jai Herbert is the underdog by the day it's fight night. So, but yeah, my official pick is Jai Herbert. I think he's going to win. Not Jai Herbert. No, 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 no. Imagine if I'm this aggressive about saying no, no, and then I end up being wrong. But we're going with this one. It's tested, guys. Have 500 fights. It's crazy to me that when I say I make effort, guys, I'm not joking. Testing a prediction strategy on 500 fights is insane. But yeah, that's why I'm so confident. Anyway, let me stop going back to that. On to the next one. Before I move on, let me respond and then go to the next one. Uh, Shot McGee, Jai Herbert, I think Taco sucks. He might suck, right? But in Taco's previous fight, I picked him. I remember picking him to actually get it done, and I think he was an underdog in that particular fight as well. And I remember him losing the fight a little bit, and then obviously got the finish, if I remember it correctly. So I'm a little bit worried, but I feel like Jai Herbert is past his prime. But I guess we'll see, man. That's the nice thing about this particular situation is um, I'm in a situation where I'm still seeing if if my previous tests were accurate or not. So we'll see. Shoshan McGee, Taco is slow. So slow. I mean, I've been wrong before, and when I say 88%, it's not 100%. So it gives a window for me to be wrong. So I guess we'll see. Auto impulse. Jai is too passive. Accepts the positions along the cage too easily, and Padilla will fight for your money. Yes, Jai very talented, but he doesn't have the heart, and also he's past his prime, in my opinion. To be honest, Shoshat McGee, Jai decision, tackled KO, but still think Jai wins. Okay, I guess we'll see. Auto impulse, I agree with Padilla. KO angle. Okay. Auto impulse and Jai decision actually good reads on both. Hmm. Okay then. On to the next one. Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Sharia. Wood is the underdog at plus 120. Morgan Sharia is the favorite at minus 140. Do I think an upset is possible here? I think Nathaniel Wood is a good underdog, but this fight is going to be very interesting. Hi Tupac. I don't know how to respond to that. Yeah, that's fine. Morgan, more ways to win. So Nathaniel Wood is is one of the most confusing fighters in the in the UFC because he's on the border of being really talented and being very average. So it's kind of difficult to actually see, or rather to determine how good he's going to be in a fight. One of the main things that I noted from Nathaniel Wood in his previous fights was that I felt like Nathaniel Wood was too short for the division he's in. In all honesty, I think Nathaniel Wood should have considered being at bantamweight. I don't know what he's doing at featherweight. He's at featherweight, right? Yeah. But he's still really talented. But going life and death with what's it's not Pineda. Is it Daniel Pineda? I forgot the older guy he was fighting in his last fight. I know and I respect the guy. The guy has, I think, a 100% finishing rate. But fighting someone who's, I think, like approaching 40 at featherweight and almost getting finished by him and getting into bad positions, it's not a good look, man. It's honestly not a good look because, in my opinion, if you put Morgan Charrier in that particular fight, I think Morgan Charrier just runs through. Is it Daniel Pineda? I forgot his name. I think it's Daniel Pineda. I think he runs through him, right? So for me personally, it's kind of a little bit challenging to have any type of faith in Nathaniel Wood, despite the fact that he's a very talented fighter. I'm not sitting here and saying Nathaniel Wood is not good, right? He might even shock us and actually find a way to get this one done. But it doesn't change the fact that he's having close fights with people who are past their prime, who are closer to retirement than a championship fight. That's not a good look. You need to finish people like that. And the people who go to close decisions with older fighters end up eventually losing. It happened with, what do you call him? Who went to a close fight with older fighters. So, for example, who is it? I forgot the names. Damn it! And these were going to be good examples. Um, what? Okay, let me just move on. So, for me personally, if you're going life and death with someone who's close to retirement and very far away from a championship fight, it's not a good sign. But he could shock us. I highly doubt, but he could shock us. But in this particular fight, I feel like Morgan Cherry has more ways to win. Like Shoshat McGee said, I feel like he's very well rounded, striking wise, grappling wise. And based on how Nathaniel Wood was performing, especially on the ground, it just feels like Morgan Charrier can actually outgrapple Nathaniel Wood at this point. You know, so that's one of the main reasons why I went with Morgan Charrier. Do I think an upset is possible here? I'm going to be respectful to Nathaniel Wood and say yes, because despite everything that I just said, Nathaniel Wood is a good fighter. I just feel like he's fighting in the wrong division. I think he should try to cut down to bantamweight, and he probably might be able to make a championship run in that particular division. But yeah, I think Morgan Charrier wins this one, but an upset is definitely possible. My subscribers are also going with Morgan Charrier. Yes, we'll just have to wait and see. Um, Shawshot McGee, Morgan would have to get outpointed to lose. I don't even think that's going to happen because Morgan Charrier is very aggressive. So he's going to probably win the fight by cage control and damage if it goes to a decision, which is highly likely. So maybe he might get outpointed somehow because these guys who don't finish fights somehow manage to outpoint fight finishers. Hopefully that doesn't happen here. But yeah, I'm going with Morgan Charrier. But an upset is definitely possible. On to the next one. Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. My subscribers and I went with Jordan Vucenic. Jordan Vucenic is a massive favorite at minus 440. Chris Duncan is the underdog at plus 340. Do I think an upset is possible? This is another tricky one because the only time that Vucenic has been tested was against Kutateladze, right? And like I said, my confidence in Kutateladze is not that high. So I don't know what winning a fight against Kutateladze means at this particular point in time because I don't know if he is as good as I think he is, but he looked pretty durable. He looked very well rounded. And like I was saying when I was breaking down the fight between Kotateladze versus Fernandez, I did say that Jordan Vucenic actually looked good early in the fight. And I feel like Vucenic only lost that fight because he was coming in on short notice, and obviously the cardio ran out. I think he will be a little bit more prepared this time, and he's fighting Chris Duncan, who is, in my opinion, very average at best of a fighter. He's definitely UFC level, but not elite level. Whereas I feel like Jordan Vucenic, based on his performance on short notice, has what it takes to actually make it to the top of the division. But I'm still worried. I'm not going to sit here and say that Chris Duncan doesn't have a shot. I think Chris Duncan does have a shot at actually getting this one done. So because of that, I'm going to say an upset is definitely possible. But I think Jordan Vucenic is going to actually get this one done. Um, so yeah, on to the next one. Molly McCann versus Alexia Thainara. Molly McCann is the underdog at plus 170. Wow. And Alexia Thainara is the favorite at minus 215. Do I think an upset is possible here? Whew. Upsets, upsets, upsets. Everyone loves them. Um, unless it's you losing money. So before I move on to the next one, let me reply. Um, so Shawshot McGee, Jordan Vucenic is a lock. Okay. My locks are a little bit different, and I have two locks. Shawshot McGee, Duncan was getting cooked in his last fight. His opponent's low IQ bet himself, not Duncan. He beat himself, not Duncan. That's crazy. Mehra, Loveleen, bro, can you give me three confident picks? Um, so far I have two. I don't have three confident picks. The two confident picks I have are Carlos Oberg and who was at the bottom. What do you call him? The guy who's fighting. I'll remember. Let me finish. I'm breaking down the fights. Um, Shot McGee. Duncan has a right hand hard down shot in the dog of his hands. That's crazy, dude. Like, wow. Anyway, Alexia Fainara versus Molly McCann. Um, Fainara is a very talented fighter. Um, I'm actually surprised that she's the favorite. Um, but it makes sense because I think she's very talented. And on the other hand, Molly McCann looks good in certain fights, unless you can wrestle, then it doesn't look that great for her. Besides that, I think Alexia Thainara has. Okay, I don't want to describe her in a way that's going to be offensive, but man, she has that dude power, you know. So I'm not gonna be surprised if she finds a way to knock out Molly McCann. I don't know, man. I've never thought Molly McCann was good. Of course, she has the ability to win a fight here and there, but I don't think she's very special in any way, shape, or form. I'm still not sold on Paddy Pimblett. I think the UFC is giving him favorable matches to try and get him to the top, but which is kind of crazy because what's going to happen is he's going to have to face the champion eventually. And if your champion at that point is either Islam Makhachev or Ilya Tuporia or even Aman Sarukian, they're going to destroy him. It's not even going to be pleasant to watch. So I don't understand what the UFC's plan is because they're busy giving him these favorable matches of dudes who are past their prime, of people who he should be able to beat. Like, for example, look at Paddy Pimblett's previous opponents. Jared Gordon, obviously, okay, but Jared Gordon is decent, but not the greatest competition. He went from Jared Gordon to Tony Ferguson. Still terrible. Former legend. Okay, still a legend, but I mean, Tony Ferguson. And then now he's fighting Michael Chandler. I mean, come on, dude. Like, I don't understand what the UFC is doing. Um, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they look at the state of the. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they give him, what do you call him? Justin Gaethje. Looking at the fact that Paddy Pimblett can wrestle, so maybe he can implement this wrestling in order to neutralize Justin Gaethje. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. But my biggest concern is what does the UFC think is going to happen eventually? Let's say they give him favorable matches, and he ends up getting a title shot. I don't understand what the UFC thinks is going to happen after that. Somehow, Paddy Pimblett is going to develop skills to actually become a pound for pound number one. The reason why I'm busy complaining or rambling about Paddy Pimblett is because he trains at the same gym as Molly McCann. I don't think Molly McCann is good, dog. Like, she's been average her whole entire career, in my opinion, and she hasn't proven me wrong. Maybe Paddy Pimblett is improving, but the mere fact that he gains so much weight outside of camp, loses it, gains it, loses it, is unhealthy. Obviously, it works because he's still young, but the moment he hits his mid 30s, let me not even say mid 30s, early 30s. I don't know how old he is right now, but I think he just entered the 30s. It's gonna be a serious problem for him. But nonetheless, who am I to even lecture him on that? Back to Molly McCann. Like I said, Molly McCann has been average. I think Alexia Thainara is um, a decent finisher. She's decently talented. I think she has a better future in this particular division than Molly McCann has. I think Molly McCann, even in her prime, she was average. You know, whereas I think Alexia Thainara has what it takes to actually become a contender. I don't know about a champion. I'm still going to have to see, but I think Alexia Thainara has the skills to actually become a contender. Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. I've always thought Molly McCann was average at best. Even in her prime, she was average. So I didn't understand the craze over her. But yeah, Alexia Thainara takes this one. I don't know who did my subscribers pick. Let me see. Wow, my subscribers picked Molly McCann. Okay, okay, and it is what it is. I respect my subscribers, so not gonna say anything about that pick, but um, I don't agree with it. Let me reply. Let me reply to your comments before I move on to the next one. Um, let me see. Shoshat McGee Duncan has the right hand. Okay, this one I read. Shoshat McGee Molly is on a TV show and has a restaurant. Yeah, I mean she's making preparations to retire. Even in her media day, she was speaking about retirement. About, yeah, no, obviously I have a restaurant. I'm doing well outside of the fighting game, but I still love this. I want to do this. I want to show people that, even when they write a movie about me, that this girl never gave up. I'm like, okay. She's making preparations to leave, so that's good. Bro, most confident picks. I'm going with. Let me give you my most confident picks. It's Carlos Oberg and what's his name? Where is he? Nathan Fletcher. Those are my most confident picks. I only have two. It's Carlos Oberg and Nathan Fletcher. Um, take the cash out. Do you think Jan has a chance against Ulberg? Also, what do you think about McParkin? Nah, I don't think Jan has a chance. I haven't broken down that fight. I'm coming to it. I just finished breaking down the Molly McCann fight, so I'm going to Kevin Holland right now. A disappointment. Let me respond to the comments so that I can go to Kevin Holland. What is it for 70? What's the gun that he was? To Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland seems like a crazy dude. Like Alpha Tips. Chris Duncan was a huge underdog play for me. Last time I picked him against Oki, but a bit of luck on my side. But that guy has a heart of a lion. Love betting on those guys. I understand. I understand that logic, but like Joshua McGee said Chris Duncan wins because other people beat themselves. So, but Joshua, the things that Joshua McGee says are crazy sometimes. Playboy, how are you, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the stream, man. Sachi Yadav, bro, most confident pick, please. Uberg and Nathan Fletcher. Um, Playboy, tomorrow you will see the legendary Polish power, inshallah. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Are you Muslim, man? But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I don't think so. My most confident picks are Ulberg and Nathan Fletcher. So unfortunately, the Polish power has got to not retire, but I mean the light heavyweight division is still trash, so you can still dominate a lot of them. But championship level, I don't know. Sachin Yadav, can someone please best picks of the night, please, please? User one, hi. You have beautiful teeth and nice smile. Do you use Colgate as or Sensodyne to brush your teeth? That's crazy, man. Charlotte McGee, Molly is slow and undersized. That's a bad combo. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a terrible combination. Playboy Ulberg was never fighting against the guys on the level of Blahovic. Okay, user one, I'm back. Welcome back, my guy. Shojot McGee. Kevin says 4570 like it's a gun. It's a round. He has repeater rifle that shoots a 4570. He is so cooked. Yeah, it's 4570. Kevin Holland is so disappointing, man. Now that I've responded to your comments, let's go to him. Kevin Holland versus Gunnar Nelson. My subscribers and I went with Gunnar Nelson. Kevin Holland is a small underdog at plus 100. Gunnar Nelson is a minor favorite at minus 122. I think an upset is possible here. Sadly, yeah. Yeah. Kevin Holland Kevin Holland is one of those disappointing MMA fighters that you're like, shame, man. He could have been something had he taken his career seriously, and unfortunately, he's not. It's like Derek Lewis. He started losing weight and trying to be a professional athlete too late in his career. Had he made these kind of changes early in his career, he could have been a champion. Who knows? But because of that particular fact, he took his career seriously a little bit too late in his life. And it feels like that's what's going to happen to Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland says he's interested in making money, but why would you want to make money getting beaten up, dog? Like, do you love losing? Like, why don't you find a different career? And it's sad because and I keep saying this every time Kevin Holland fights. In the Hamza Chimaev fight, he was doing so well, even though he ended up getting submitted. But defensively, Kevin Holland was doing really decently well. And somehow it feels like he gave up actually trying to improve, you know? Because his striking used to be great, he never improved. Right? He stayed at one place and kept on repeating the same thing multiple times. And then lost to Wonderboy Thompson and then lost to Michael Venom Page. They're not terrible people to lose to. Lost to Jack Della Maddalena. It's sad to see what's happening with his career, considering he knocked out Joaquin Buckley. And Joaquin Buckley is about to become a title contender. And Kevin Holland is. I don't even know what's happening with Kevin Holland. I mean, Kevin Holland's career is exhausting to go through because that's what's disappointing. The dude is good, right? But he's not trying. And It's frustrating. I used to be one of the people who believed in Kevin Holland's ability to actually make a run at the belt. You know, when Kevin Holland was trying to retire, I was one of the people that were like, "Dude, you did so well in the Hamza Chimaev fight. Don't retire now. I mean, if you continue to make improvements, you can actually become something impressive." And Kevin Holland was like, "Nah, man, nah. I want to lose fights. I want to be submitted. I want to excel at losing, and he's been doing that. He once referred to himself as the gatekeeper of the welterweight division. I mean, it's sad to see what's happening to his career. And the sad part, or what makes it even more sad, is no one is doing this to him. It's him who's doing it to himself, and that's the sad part, you know. But he deserves it. I mean, he's doing it to himself. He's also very disrespectful, so I guess it's fine that he's destroying his own career. Back to the fight, I still feel like Kevin Holland might win. He has like an 81-inch reach versus Gunnar Nelson's, I think, 73-inch reach. And when someone who is primarily a striker has that much of a reach, I get worried. And Kevin Holland is a finisher. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Holland has an 85% finishing rate, and Gunnar Nelson has a 90% finishing rate. Somewhere there. I can't remember. Don't quote me on this. I forgot. But I think Kevin Holland has a high finishing ability. So I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Kevin Holland finds a way to throw something that lands and puts out Gunnar Nelson. But in all likelihood, Gunnar Nelson is going to take him down, beat him up, and then Kevin Holland will give up and he will lose. He will act frustrated, but at the same time act like he doesn't care. Like, man, that's what and try to make a joke out of it, and that's fine as long as I get my prediction right. I mean, who am I to question Kevin Holland for wanting to destroy his career? But yeah, I do think Kevin Holland has a shot at getting this one done. Um, yeah, I mean, there's nothing beyond what I just said in order to try and properly or vividly explain the outcome of this particular fight. Before I go on to the next one, so an upset is definitely possible. My subscribers and I went with Gunnar Nelson. Um, 45-70, ne? User one, I trolled you twice with the same troll. I mean, I'm proud of you. Shoshat McGee, 45-70 is around. Ask him what a 45-70 shoot, and he will say 45-70. It's a repeater rifle. It's Kevin Holland. Obviously, he wouldn't know what he's saying. User one, Kevin Holland is just happy to be in the UFC. Simple as tried by Travis Luther, BJJ legend, and still Kevin is a finish on land on the ground in that octagon. Yeah, if he doesn't finish, he's definitely going to lose. User one. Gunnar Nelson has never been knocked out or knocked down. That's one of the main reasons why I went with him, but I'm still worried. I'm not gonna lie. Auto impulse. There's a first time for everything. Yeah, I mean that's true. That's one of the reasons why I was like, I'm not going to say an upset is not possible because Kevin Holland has the reach advantage. He has the striking ability to get the upset. So, so I'm not going to underestimate his ability to actually get it done. Um, I'm just bored by the fact that he is destroying his career. But it is a career. Who am I to actually question it? On to the next one. Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. Jan Blachowicz is the underdog at plus 240, and Carlos Ulberg is the favorite at minus 300. Do I think an upset is possible here? Hell to the no. Oh, oh. I mean, this is honestly with my previous prediction strategy. I would have told you, oh my god, this fight is gonna be close. Um, Stay away from this one. Those are the things I would have said, right? Using my previous prediction strategy. The new prediction strategy says Carlos Ulberg is 100% going to win. There's so many things going for. Let's actually break down the fight, right? What has made Jan Blachowicz Jan Blachowicz, right? Jan Blachowicz is Jan Blachowicz number one because he's a very durable fighter. He's not very easy to finish. Number two, Jan Blachowicz has underrated striking. I think Israel Adesanya is one of the most technically talented strikers in the UFC, and Jan Blachowicz was able to technically strike with Israel Adesanya. Maybe Israel Adesanya was not um, exerting all of his abilities because he was afraid of the finishing ability of Jan Blachowicz. Nonetheless, Jan Blachowicz was able to strike with Israel Adesanya and make it close in the early rounds of that particular fight. Jan Blachowicz can mix in the wrestling. And because of those things, Jan Blachowicz has been one of the most consistent fighters in the light heavyweight division. Even at the age of 40, which is insane to think that Jan Blachowicz was still performing at championship level at that particular age. I don't know if it's because Jan Blachowicz is really talented or it's because the light heavyweight division is just the trash or if it's both. But nonetheless, Jan Blachowicz has performed significantly well. However, we have to take into consideration Jan Blachowicz is 42 years old right now. He is coming off of an injury, and normally, when older fighters come back from injuries, they they hardly ever come back successful. Um, the people that come to mind are Chris Weidman. He came back from an injury. Obviously, his was a terrible injury, but still, he came back from surgery and not successfully so. Who else? I don't know. That's basically one of the few people that come to mind. But still, I've never really liked picking older fighters who are coming back from surgery because usually they end up losing, right? Carlos Oberg, Jan Blachowicz wrestling, right? And when I started this whole breakdown, I highlighted what makes Jan Blachowicz so dangerous, basically, or so durable, and has kept him at the top. It's Jan Blahovic's ability to mix everything up. Jan Blahovic is not going to out wrestle Carlos Ulberg, number one. Carlos Ulberg has good defensive wrestling and even offensive wrestling, and I don't think Jan Blahovic is going to be able to implement any type of wrestling that's going to give Carlos Ulberg problems. So, wrestling minus, subtracted. Striking. Carlos Ulberg trains with Israel Adesanya. Despite the fact that Jan Blachowicz was having success against Israel Adesanya, Israel Adesanya did not bulk up for light heavyweight. Despite what anyone wants to say, Israel Adesanya made it explicitly clear that he's not going to build muscle to go to light heavyweight. He's going to be himself, and he stupidly didn't realize that it's going to affect his ability to defend takedowns. Serves him right, but it's fine. So Israel Adesanya, because he fought Jan Blachowicz, he's going to be able to prepare Carlos Ulberg a little bit better in order to be able to fight him. And keep in mind that Israel Adesanya fought a younger, faster version of Jan Blachowicz. The version that Carlos Ulberg is fighting is a little bit slower and older, right? So even if the fight between Israel Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz happened a long time ago, it's better for Carlos Ulberg because the information that he's going to get from Israel Adesanya is of a younger and faster Jan Blachowicz. So if Carlos Ulberg is preparing for a younger and faster Jan Blachowicz, he's probably going to do significantly well, considering Blachowicz is now older and slower, right? And coming back from surgery. So striking wise, I think Carlos Ulberg is going to be a little bit more technical, despite the fact that I feel like Jan Blachowicz has underrated striking abilities. But nonetheless, I think Carlos Ulberg is going to be the more technical striker in this particular fight. So let's go back to what I was saying. Wrestling, it's not gonna work on Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg has both defensive and offensive wrestling, good defensive and offensive wrestling. Striking, Carlos Ulberg is an incredible striker, technical striker, and I would argue that is going to be the more technical striker of the two in that particular fight. The last thing that will remain is power. Jan Blachowicz can knock you out cold. You have to go back to who Carlos Ulberg trains with. He trains with Israel Adesanya, one of the few people who are able to avoid getting hit by powerful people. Israel Adesanya was one of the very few people who have managed to go to the fifth round with Alex Pereira, one of the most prolific finishers in the UFC. Right? Israel Adesanya went to a decision with Jan Blachowicz, despite the fact that Jan Blachowicz has finishing ability and the Polish power. The fact that Israel Adesanya was able to not get knocked out against Paulo Costa, Jan Blachowicz, and obviously Alex Pereira knocked him out, but it was in the fifth round, which speaks to his ability to actually avoid getting hit. Because I would argue that Alex Pereira was able to only knock out Israel Adesanya because Israel Adesanya got tired in the fifth round, right? So because of that, I feel like Israel Adesanya is going to be able to prepare, or Carlos Ulberg's team is going to be able to prepare Carlos Ulberg in order to avoid getting hit with big shots. I think Carlos Ulberg is going to play the technical game. He's not going to brawl with Jan Blachowicz. So if Carlos Ulberg can avoid the power, which I think he's going to be able to, if Carlos Ulberg is going to be the more technical striker between the two, which I think he's going to be, if Carlos Ulberg is going to be defensively and offensively sound as far as grappling goes, and if Carlos Ulberg is going to be the faster fighter because obviously he's younger, how is Jan Blachowicz going to win? You know? So after looking at my new strategy, I was like, okay, yeah, it makes sense why Carlos Ulberg should be one of my locks because despite the fact that a lot of people are nostalgic, they're like, remember the days when Jan Blachowicz was champion. You know, remember the days when Jan Blachowicz knocked out Dominic Reyes. Remember the days when Jan Blachowicz got a decision win over Israel Adesanya. Those were the good old days, you know. But it's not the good old days. It's today. And today, Jan Blachowicz is 42 years old, coming off of a surgery, fighting a younger, faster, technical striker with offensive and defensive grappling abilities and can avoid power shots. Don't believe me? Ask Alonso Manifield how that worked out for him. And obviously, I'm not comparing Jan Blachowicz to Alonso Manifield, but that just goes to show that Carlos Ulberg can deal with power and pressure. So I'm pretty confident Carlos Ulberg is going to win this fight. The main event of the evening, before I go to the main event, let me respond to your comment and then we can move on. Um, I think it's Auto Impulse. Mm, okay, Auto Impulse. Yanis winning this fight. He's fought way higher level competition. He went toe to toe with Ank and Prime Pereira. Ulberg didn't even look good against Uzdemir. I can respect that, man. But I feel like he has a high level striking partner, right? In Israel Adesanya. Um, he also beat Izzy on a 20 fight streak just a couple of years ago. Yeah, that's actually very true. But he had to use wrestling. Also, Impulse, he wouldn't be coming back after all that just to let Olberg make a name of him. He's also gotten surgery and saying he's way healthier than before. Okay. Um, also, Impulse, Weidman's body was all kinds of messed up. LOL, 50 surgeries. Also, Impulse, that goes both ways though. This is the second camp Jan does for a CKB prospect. Okay, okay, I guess we'll see, but I'm pretty confident that the Carlos Ulberg is going to get this one done. I'm going to be doing a watch along, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see tomorrow. So join me. So Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. I got a lot of hate comments about this pick. A lot of people were like, "Yeah, of course you are picking Leon Edwards. Look at you, you are black." You know, and the racism here is just casual at this point. So Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. Why did I pick Leon Edwards? So my subscribers and I went with Leon Edwards. Um, let me see. Tell me you picked Leon. Yes, yes, I picked Leon. So it's interesting to me that people somehow have forgotten that Leon Edwards is a former world champion and has defended his belt how many times? Has defended his belt twice, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, against Kamaru Usman and against Colby Covington. So it's quite impressive or interesting to me to see people somehow forgetting that Leon Edwards was the champion and Leon Edwards knocked out the pound for pound number one at that time, right? That's one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. So let's break down the fight. Kamaru Usman, one of the most talented wrestlers in the UFC, right? He gave Hamza Chimaev one of his hardest fights. Even Hamza himself is admitting to the fact that Kamaru Usman is his hardest fight. And we're talking about Hamza Chimaev who ran through Robert Whittaker, a former middleweight champion. That Hamza Chimaev gave what was given problems by Kamaru Usman. Yeah, of course, Hamza Chimaev broke his hand. I understand that, but still, Kamaru Usman did significantly well on short notice against Hamza Chimaev. That's number one. It shows you the pedigree of Kamaru Usman's wrestling. Kobe Covington, who I think is trash, but nonetheless still a wrestler, a pressure wrestler that Leon Edwards was preparing for, right? Someone who's been in the title picture, I think, 3 times now. Leon Edwards beat him, and it wasn't even close. I don't know what Kobe Covington is smoking if he thinks he won that fight. Bilal Muhammad, also a wrestler. Bilal Muhammad uses pace and pressure and chain wrestling in order to actually tire you out. And basically, Bilal Muhammad is what Kobe Covington thinks he is. So Bilal Muhammad uses chain wrestling and pressure in order to break you, which is basically what happened. And obviously, Bilal Muhammad has good striking, even though people fail to give him credit for that. He has good striking, and that's how he was able to knock out Sean Brady, right? So he was mixing up the striking and the wrestling in order to basically eventually beat Leon Edwards. So once again, let's go back to the opponents that Leon Edwards has faced. Kamaru Usman twice, wrestler. Leon Edwards, wrestler. Bilal Muhammad, wrestler. We're talking about championship level. I hate calling Kobe Covington a championship level fighter, but he's fought for the belt 3 times, so I mean technically we can include him. So he's fought the 3 championship level wrestlers. It feels so terrible saying that about Kobe Covington. Kobe Covington is not good, but still, 3 championship level wrestlers in his last 4 fights, right? It was Kamaru Usman, Kobe Covington, Bilal Muhammad. Let's look at Sean Brady's career, right? Beat Kelvin Gastelum, lost to Bilal Muhammad, and then before that it becomes a little bit hazy. Sean Brady has never faced anyone the level of Leon Edwards as far as striking goes. Sean Brady is good at wrestling, very talented at wrestling, very talented at jiu-jitsu. But Leon Edwards is not going to be a very easy guy to actually dominate with wrestling, considering his last 4 camps were dedicated to defending takedowns and dealing with wrestlers, the likes of Kamaru Usman, Kobe Covington, Bilal Muhammad, right? So, for me personally, what Sean Brady is good at is not going to be effective in this particular fight because, in order for him to be effective, that's why Kobe Covington and Kamaru Usman failed, but Bilal Muhammad actually succeeded. Is because number one, you need to be a good striker. Kamaru Usman has that. Kamaru Usman has the striking ability and the wrestling ability. The only difference between Kamaru Usman and Bilal Muhammad was the pressure and cardio, right? Kamaru Usman, even in the second fight, was getting tired. Even in the first fight, Kamaru Usman was getting tired, and that's why he lost. Bilal Muhammad, in my opinion, has everything that Kamaru Usman has. The only difference is Bilal has better cardio, and that's what made him win the fight. So the only way Sean Brady is going to beat Leon Edwards is if he puts on a pace the level of Bilal Muhammad. Sean Brady does not have that kind of cardio. Sean Brady might have success in the first round, of which I doubt. Sean Brady might have success in the second round, of which I doubt. Third round, fourth round, fifth round, I don't think it's going to be the same. So if you think Sean Brady is going to win, you have to believe Sean Brady is going to win via wrestling. But logically speaking, how do you get past the fact that Leon Edwards has prepared for Kamaru Usman twice, Kobe Covington and Bilal Muhammad in his last four fights, and convince yourself that no, Sean Brady is going to be better than all of them somehow, or equally good. To me, it doesn't make enough sense for me to actually justify that Leon Edwards is going to lose this fight, because the only way Leon Edwards loses this fight is if he gets dominated on the ground, which is unlikely based on the fact that this guy, and I'm going to repeat this multiple times because it doesn't feel like people are understanding this point. Leon Edwards, in his last four camps, he was fighting in a championship. He knocked out Kamaru Usman to become the champion. He was preparing for a wrestler. He beat Kamaru Usman via decision. He was preparing for a wrestler. He beat Colby Covington but again via decision. He was preparing for a wrestler. He lost to Bilal Mohammed via decision. He was preparing for a wrestler. Does anyone believe that Sean Brady is better than Kamaru Usman or Bilal Mohammed? He's even lost to Bilal Mohammed, so we can't say he's better than Bilal Mohammed. I mean, maybe he's better than Colby Covington. Colby sucks, he's trash. Maybe he is better than Colby Covington. But for me personally, it's hard to see Leon Edwards get dominated by Sean Brady, because to dominate Leon Edwards, you need cardio, something that I don't think Sean Brady has. I mean, he has the average cardio. He doesn't have Bilal type cardio, right? And because of that, I think the fight is going to play out on the feet. And on the feet, Leon Edwards runs circles around Sean Brady. Um, so yeah, I honestly don't think Sean Brady is going to win this one. I could be wrong. We're talking about a former champion who's been preparing for wrestlers. Um, so I don't see a situation where he's somehow going to get confused on, oh, I've been preparing for wrestlers four camps in a row, and on my fifth camp, I'm going to forget how to fight wrestlers, even though he beat two of them. It doesn't make sense to me. So Sean Brady is going to lose this fight, unfortunately for him. Um, I know a lot of people. That's why he's the favorite, I guess. Who's the favorite? Did I actually highlight them? Oh, Sean Brady is the favorite at minus 160, and Leon Edwards is the underdog at plus 130. So, do I think an upset is possible? I mean, of course, I'm picking Leon Edwards, and my subscribers are picking Leon Edwards. So, in conclusion, Leon Edwards is going to win. Sean Brady is not better than Kamaru Usman at wrestling. Is not better than Bilal. So, he doesn't have better cardio than Bilal. So, I don't see him doing what Bilal was able to do to Leon Edwards. So, Leon Edwards for the win, probably decision. Let me respond to you guys. So my confident picks are once again Carlos Olberg and Nathan Fletcher. Let me respond to your comments so I can bounce. Um, so Auto Impulse, Bilal was putting hands on Brady round one, and yes, I know Canelo hands WE, but Leon has insane range on him. He also grapples very well. Yeah, I agree, 100%. Shashwat Raj, welcome to the stream, my guy. Leon might win a split decision here. Yeah, I could see that. Plus, Leon likes decisions. I like both the main and co-main event to go the distance. Makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Um, Raj, Brady's best win is his washed up burns. Yeah, unfortunately, and if you can't dominate Gilbert Burns, I mean, on the ground, but I mean, to be fair, Hamza Chimaev didn't want to engage with Gilbert Burns on the ground, so I guess maybe we should be, I don't know, somehow give him a bit of credit to some extent, but still, I don't rate that win too highly. But nonetheless, and he's beating an old Gilbert Burns, not a Gilbert Burns in his prime. Loud enough. What do you got on my 40 homie? What up, loud enough? Join us tomorrow when we do a watch along. Guys, I love and appreciate all of you. To everyone who joined me on the stream, thank you, thank you, thank you. Join me live tomorrow. From the prelims up until the main card, I'm going to be doing a watch along. I talk too much. I've been talking for 1 hour, 40 minutes. That's crazy. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Um, do you think Vucenic can get the KO? I don't know because I respect Duncan's abilities, but it's possible. It's possible based on how Vucenic was fighting Kudadelaze in his last fight. On a full camp, I think it's possible for him to get a finish. A KO is highly likely. See you guys tomorrow for the watch along. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Bye, homie. We'll catch you at the fight companion. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Until next time, love and appreciate all of you. Deuces.